Hello and welcome to Megawatt, where each week we give you the lowdown on the latest piece of kit from the world of technology and gadgets. This week it's all about working on the move, and in particular we're looking at how the Asus Eee has changed the market to create the HP 2133 Mini Note. Now, we all like a pint here in Britain, but we also like to work hard, and so has the Asus Eee with its 7-inch screen and small keyboard got what it takes to keep the crown away from the HP with its offering. So before we get onto the HP Mini Note, it's probably best to recap on what Asus actually offer. Well, there's two models available, a 7-inch screen and an 8.9-inch screen, which just came out a couple of weeks ago. We're looking at the 7-inch screen, which costs around £200 in the UK. It comes with a very small keyboard, a 7-inch screen, the speakers are on the side. It runs Linux, which is why you've got all these little graphic icons here rather than a desktop, although you can turn it into a desktop if you wanted to. On the side you get an SD card slot, you also get a couple of USBs, a VGA, and then around the other area you get a network cable and another USB, as well as headphone in and out. Then in addition to that, there's Wi-Fi on board inside. Depending on how much you pay, you can get up to 2 to 20 gig of SSD, solid state drive memory, which means there's no moving parts, and the battery life's around about 2 to 3 hours, again depending on which battery you get. All in all, it's quite good. The only complaints, it's very light, it's a tiny bit flimsy, and the keyboard is quite tight to type on. The 9-inch model comes with a bigger trackpad, which has made it easier to use, because this one's quite small, to be honest. Although for in the field use, it's pretty light. As we said, it's very easy to use and it's very quick, mainly because it doesn't have Microsoft Vista on it in any way, shape or form. So compare the Asus Eee to the HP Mini Note, and if we put the two on top, you'll see that the HP is considerably wider. From a thickness point of view, they're about the same, as well as from a depth point of view, but you do get that wider measurement in the bag. Now, in addition to that, we're using the 6-cell battery for the HP Mini Note, which gives you around 4 hours of battery. Now, you can get a 3-cell, which is slightly thinner, and that will sit flush. But to be honest, we quite like the inclination of the slope there, and it certainly makes typing easier. Compare the two, and you'll see that this keyboard is virtually full size. In fact, it's 92% of the size of a full-size keyboard. Now, the only thing that we don't like from an aesthetics point of view is this trackpad. At 3 centimeters deep by 6 centimeters wide, it's pretty tiny. We like the idea that they've done the widescreen option to match the widescreen 8.9-inch display, but it's just too small. The trouble as well we found is that the click buttons that you normally associate with a trackpad, that are normally underneath the trackpad, are by the side. So you either have to contort your whole hand around to be able to use it, or what we found ourselves doing is scrolling to the right place on the screen and then moving the finger to track over. Now, someone suggested to me that I maybe track with this finger and then click with this, but I can't do that. So what we would recommend, if you are going to get one of these, is to get a little laptop mouse, plug it in with a dongle via one of the USB slots on the side, and away you go. It's a lot easier. So connectivity-wise, what do you get? Well, you get a VGA card slot, so you can put it to a bigger monitor rather than using the screen. You get one USB there, a couple of headphones, and then on this side, you get, that's the power, you get an Ethernet connection, and you get another USB. You also get an SD card, and there's a PC Express card as well for expanding it even further. Inside, you get a VIA CM7 processor, 1.2 in the UK, although for some reason the US will get a 1.6 offering as well. And then the standard memory is 1 gig. Where it's really impressive over the Asus Eee range is that instead of 2, maybe 4, maybe 20 gig of memory, you actually get a 120 gig hard drive in there, which certainly gives you enough space to store all your media. Now, there's no optical drive, as you probably noticed. It is quite a small PC after all. And the 120 gig will certainly allow you to store a couple of movies, turning this into a little portable DVD player, or certainly competing with it. When it comes to the operating system, there are two options. You can either get Linux or you can get Windows Vista Business. Now, according to Microsoft, the Windows Vista rating of this PC is 1.7 on a scale that goes from 1 to 5.9. According to their own language on their own website, that suggests that anything below 2 is really only good for office or web surfing, and if you want to do anything certainly graphically enhanced or games, then you should probably forget about it, meaning this really is just for working on the go rather than spending some time playing the latest first-person shooter. Of course, depending on what operating system you go for will affect the price, and rather than do what Asus have done, which is say it's one price but you get different hardware specs according to the operating system you choose, you will pay an £85 premium for the option of Vista out of the box. Yes, that's right, we're sitting in a tree because, hey, that's what you're going to do in your everyday business life. Now, we're testing this to see basically whether we can type anywhere we want to, but also we have to tell you this, that we'd love to show you what's going on at the screen, but due to that wonderful reflective glossiness of it, you probably can't see anything. I can hardly see anything either. So I'm just going to quickly type a sentence. Hello, my name is Stuart Miles. Considering I'm sitting in a tree, the touch typing capabilities are very good. Certainly something I found difficult when I was testing the Asus was that you really have to be super nimble with your fingers, and this is a bit better. But the thing we have found, and this is something that we weren't expecting, was that it's so small that you have to make sure that you're sitting in a right place. And to be honest, it's probably better if you can get your knees, i.e. that little table surface, there. And it's certainly something you have to bear in mind probably if you're on the train. You probably have to sit like this, quite tight and close, to type away. Let's see if that makes any difference. Yeah, I mean, I've made two mistakes on that whole stage. So hello, my name is Stuart Miles and I'm sitting in a tree writing on my Note Mini. And so it's obviously does help, you know, that bearing in mind. As I said, we are sitting in a tree, but it does show that if you want to write from anywhere, then this might be just the thing that'll allow you to do that. So what do we think? That's the most important thing. Well, to be honest, we're in a bit of a quandary. At £385 for the Vista model, it's quite expensive for what's probably seen as a very cheap budget laptop that you just want to throw in your bag and be able to work on the go. The other things we don't like are the screen. The glossy screen is, whilst it might look nice inside, awful for outside use. I mean, I can't even see what's going on, and it's not that sunny today. So what it would be like on a bright sunny afternoon when you're in the park, which is, hey, let's face it, the whole point of these portable models, you probably won't be able to see anything apart from your mug looking at yourself. The other thing is that the trackpad is incredibly small, and as I said, we would recommend, if you are going to get one of these, the second purchase that you do is to buy a small laptop mouse to go with it. That said, there are some really nice things about this. The speakers are actually very good considering that they are tiny. The screen, when you can see it, is high resolution and very crisp, and the keyboard at 92% full spec, so to speak, is easy enough to type on and get your work done. Then there's the 120 gig hard drive, the actual quite good build quality, and the zippy performance if you're only looking to do office work when you're out and about. So would we buy one? Well, if you're a Vista user and you really like PC, you know, the Windows experience, then this will allow you to take that Windows experience and work around the world quite easily. The Wi-Fi, the internet, the ability to connect to 3G modem, it's all there and it's very good. However, if you're on a budget, you're only looking to spend about £200 and you're really only looking to sort of surf the web or answer emails, then probably the Asus Eee with its lightweight yet tiny bit flimsy design will probably still be the option for you. And at £269, £100 cheaper, you can actually get an XP version which will give you all the functions of Windows but without the Vista element to it, which, let's face it, that's probably what you're after anyway. So do we like it? Yes. Should you get it? Probably. Maybe have a think about it. We're still pondering whether we'd want one of these or not. Well, that's it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Why don't you tune in next time for more news, reviews, tips, opinions, tricks, and much more. And if you're watching this on a podcast around the web, why don't you come back to Megawatt TV, where you can see all the above, plus a beautiful platform to watch it on. I've got a pint to finish. See you next week.